images themselves lose their self-importance. It's about its presentation through the book. These are images that are mounted in a drum leaf binding across the binding. As you move through, it's not about the image. It's about the experience of placing you in a place. Right? What is that place? It almost, again, it's a filmic thing. Right? You're in a car, looking out the window. As you turn the page, you actually feel your body moving through space. Lastly, I just want to show you an image of a bookwork that was made by one of my students, a sophomore, and I find this actually kind of a remarkable little book. It was an experimental book done in less than a week. And this is an appropriated image done by a photographer, apparently, who is rather well known. Does anybody know who this photographer is? Because I don't. Does anyone recognize this image? What he's done is he's placed the image inside a frosted and scratched plexiglass container, and you can see this little pivot on the right-hand side where the spine is. If you pivot that, right, it reveals this image. Right? And the image is fractured. And this is part of a project that we call single image transformation, in which I challenge the student to take a single image and fold it or cut it or bend it or rip it or staple it, do something to that image that becomes a narrative about that image or a narrative about something else that is not about that image. Right? In this case, he's been successful in doing both. This is like a shattered piece of glass, and each one of them is a page. Each one of these little panels is a page. And you slide out page one, and as you do that, you're hearing the scraping sound. Right? So sound becomes part of the element of this photographic experience. And then you see that you've sort of damaged it somewhat. It's hard to see, but there's a little scar at the top of his head where you have scarified the image. Page two gets removed. And again, that scraping sound. And not only have you put a scar in the head, you've also cut the top of his ear off. Page three. And what he's done is he's transformed an image of an actual person who's been damaged by violence. And it's presented to you in such a way that you become the actor of that violence. You become the person who scars this individual. You become the violent one, placing you in the same space and mindset as the person who may have done this violence in the first place. Now, within these four possibilities, taking them all together, one can consider how art movements of the past century have achieved or approached the photograph within the book context. I mean, from all kinds of movements, from Cubism to Dada to photomontage to surrealism to pop art to fluxus to minimalism to postmodern appropriation in the age of the post-mechanical reproduction. Thank you.